Do you have an understanding for the LGBTQ community, how the youth out there may feel about this, how this may have affected them as well? Because there is a big picture to all of this.
I have an understanding that I've addressed it, and I've said everything that I can possibly say, so I'm over it.
So there's really nothing more that you want to say. You've done it on the radio, you've Instagram, you've tweeted.
You will not hear me say anything else about it.
Hollywood's favorite comedian, known for his charm and quick wit, found himself in the middle of an unexpected storm. For years, he entertained audiences with laughter and positivity, staying far from controversy. But everything changed when he was invited to host the Oscars. Old tweets resurfaced, sparking harsh criticism and putting him in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. The beloved entertainer suddenly faced the relentless force of cancel culture. The backlash was intense, but Kevin Hart isn't one to shy away from a fight. How did he handle the pressure? And what does his journey say about the challenges of navigating fame in today's world?
I got a vision board, and on that vision board is so many things that I want to do that I'll check off as they get done. And Oscars was up there. Oscars was one of the highest of highs simply because there hasn't been a lot of African-American comedians that have been able to do it. I would have been the fourth. So to get the moment, celebrate the moment. Oh my.
Kevin Hart was on top of the world, ready to reach the peak of his career by hosting the Oscars, a lifelong dream finally coming true. But just as he was celebrating this milestone, trouble began to stir. Critics started combing through his past, unearthing old tweets and sparking a relentless hunt for controversy. What should have been a moment of triumph quickly turned into a whirlwind of scrutiny.
Congratulations and celebrations, I'm hit with an onslaught on social media of my past coming back up again. Literally the next morning. Not even a full 24 hours to glow in the glory of Kevin Hart is hosting this year's Oscars.
Kevin Hart faced intense criticism in 2019 when decade-old tweets from 2009 resurfaced, drawing backlash from the LGBTQ+ community. Although he had deleted the posts and apologized years earlier, the controversy flared up again. For many critics, his past apologies weren't sufficient. They demanded he face the renewed outrage head-on.
My first thought is I'm going to ignore it. I'm going to ignore it because it's 10 years old. This is stuff I've addressed. I've talked about this. This isn't new. I've addressed it. I've apologized for it. I'm not going to pay it any mind. Because when you feed into that stuff, you only add more fuel.
The media quickly jumped on the controversy, dragging Kevin Hart's name through the mud in pursuit of sensational, attention-grabbing headlines.
The headlines are, Kevin Hart refuses to apologize for homophobic tweets from the past. The word again was left out. Everybody took those headlines and started.
For the first time since the chaos began, Kevin Hart was genuinely furious. He was frustrated that his past apologies were being dismissed, while the media continued to twist the story, fueling the relentless online backlash. But beneath the anger lay a deeper truth. Kevin knew who he was. Homophobia did not define him, and he had never intended to hurt or offend anyone. So, why did the attacks keep coming?
This is a time where people are just looking to be upset about things.
100%.
And they're not looking at you, Kevin Hart, as just a human being. Like, who is he overall? Super positive. They're not even concentrating on that. I mean, think about how positive you are, and yet they try to concentrate on some jokes that.
For the woke crowd, context didn't matter. One wrong statement, and you were canceled. Kevin Hart found himself squarely in their sights, even though he had always avoided controversial topics in his comedy. Unlike peers such as Chris Rock, Ricky Gervais, and Dave Chappelle, he steered clear of edgy material. The irony of it all only deepened his frustration.
Me, because I don't have the knowledge of everything that I should.
Like what? What kind of things?
Well, politics. I don't joke in the politics. I don't joke in anything that has to do with the slander of others or other communities. I don't do anything divisive.
Good for you.
That's my.
None of this mattered to the woke left. They dismissed context, overlooked Kevin's past apologies, and ignored his efforts to keep his comedy free of controversy. But what truly bothered Kevin went beyond the backlash. It was something deeper, something most people wouldn't even consider.
I know that within my apologies, I've taken 10 years to put my apology to work. I've yet to go back to that version of the immature comedian that once was. I've moved on. I'm a grown man. I'm cultured. I'm manufactured. I'm a guy that understands now. I look at life through a different lens, and because of that, I live it.
What frustrated Kevin Hart the most was how a decade of personal growth was completely overlooked, as if it never happened. Understandably, he was furious. To make matters worse, the Oscars added fuel to the fire by stepping in, piling on the pressure, and placing Kevin in an incredibly awkward position.
I was given an ultimatum. Kevin, apologize, or we're going to have to find another host. I don't want to step on that stage and make that night about me and my past when you got people that have worked hard to step on that stage for the first time and receive an award. I'm now taking away from all those moments because the night is focused on something else.
The pressure was unbearable, and Kevin Hart found himself at a crossroads with his career hanging in the balance. The woke mob had backed him into a corner, demanding he conform to their expectations. But then, in a surprising turn, Kevin made a bold decision that left everyone in shock. The world paused, asking, why? What drove him to this choice? When Kevin finally explained, his reasoning was clear, but now, it's up to you to decide if his actions were justified.
While stepping down, once again, I'm sorry if these words hurt. I'm sorry. But either my apology is accepted, I have explained how I evolved, which makes me say I'm over it. I'm not saying how I've changed anymore. I'm not saying what I've done and what the new me is. I'm not giving no more explanation of...
Kevin explained that the Oscars, once a fun and lighthearted event, had turned into a battleground of controversy. His original vision of bringing joy to the night was slipping away. Faced with this, he made the tough decision to step down, choosing not to let the negativity overshadow the excitement of the evening. But Kevin wasn't finished. He offered another apology, just to make sure he addressed everything and covered all his bases.
Hated myself to bringing people together. Like I thought that was my goal. That's my priority. I damn sure thought that's what I was doing on a global scale. Everybody, all races, shapes, sizes, whoever you are, whatever you are, you can come to a Kevin Hart show and have a good time. So when it came off as if I was a person that was divisive.
You'd think the extra apology would be enough to quiet the critics, but it wasn't. The media kept circling back, demanding more apologies and dragging him deeper into the same debate. But this time, Kevin had had enough. He wasn't backing down anymore, and he certainly wasn't going to let the woke crowd dictate his actions. He was done explaining, done apologizing. Tired and fed up, he refused to continue to bow to their demands. This brings us to the heart of the woke mentality. No matter how many apologies you offer, it's never enough. Once you're in their sights, you're done. For them, Kevin Hart's entire brand, his positivity, his personal growth, meant nothing. And that raises a bigger question. Isn't this a flaw in their approach? But through it all, Kevin managed to rise above, weathering the cancel storm and moving forward. Many still believe he was treated unfairly.